What's up? What's up, guys? And welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality Podcast. I am your host. I am Caitlin Kenna, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It took me like an hour to get this mic set up onto this laptop. I've been dealing with a lot of technical difficulties, and that's just my life. I'm on social media. I have a podcast. I do all of these awesome things on technology. But I literally am illiterate when it comes to technology. I just kind of wing it and go with the flow. And I feel like a lot of people are in the same boat as I am, and I just kind of do it. But, guys, that's not what we're talking about today. Actually, it kind of is, because the topic today that I wanted to get into is how to overcome unexpected challenges. And, hey, this was kind of an unexpected challenge that I had to overcome. I didn't anticipate it to take me as long as it did to set up this mic, to set up this system. But it did, and guess what? We figured it out. We didn't freak out too much, and everything's okay. That's all that matters. But guys, the reason why I wanted to talk about unexpected challenges today is because I feel like a lot of people in this world need to hear about this topic today. And in fact, I have a story that kind of goes behind it. So first off, I want to just put this out there, guys. It's difficult for us to prepare for everything that life throws at us. Some things you're going to see, right? Some hurdles you're going to see in the distance. You know that they're coming, and you're able to react and give yourself enough time to prepare and plan for these events. So that way, when you get to that hurdle, you're able to jump over it with no problem. But unfortunately, the way that life works is that a lot of these hurdles that come into our path pop up while we're full on sprinting, and they just come up 5 feet in front of us, and we're not really able to react. So a lot of times we hit into that hurdle and we fall flat on our face. But remember, it's not falling flat on our face that defines us. It's getting up, dusting ourselves off, and being able to move forward from that hurdle. And, you know, it's impossible to control everything in life, and we don't like that. We want control, and we can't control everything. So when we realize that we can't control the situation at hand, we become overwhelmed, we become anxious when we lack that sense of control. So, first off, coming off of that, you may not be able to control everything in your life, but you can always control how you respond and how you react to that moment. You can always control your attitude, your effort, and your actions. So keep that in mind. Yes, some things you can't control. Shit happens, but you get to control how you respond, and that's going to make a big difference in how the scenario plays out. So, how do we overcome these unexpected challenges? And I'm going to get into that, but first I want to kind of back it up and tell a little bit of a story. So, about a week and a half ago, I was sitting in this office. I was actually on the phone with my mom, and we were talking about wedding planning, which, speaking of unexpected challenges, I highly recommend that you don't plan a wedding and that you don't have a wedding. I highly recommend just, saving money. And no, I'm just kidding. I cannot wait to have a wedding ceremony. It's just an extremely stressful thing that's going on right now. But that's not what we're talking about. So I was on the phone talking with my mom about the wedding. Stone was in the garage. He was working out. And then I get this text from Stone, and it kind of was one of those texts that you get and you look at it and you kind of can't believe what you're reading, and it kind of gives you that sinking heart, sinking stomach feeling, kind of like you just got punched in the gut really hard and you got the wind knocked out of you. That's the text that I got. No, he did not hurt himself. That is not what happened, although I see how you could have probably thought that, because I thought that in this moment. He got a text, or he got a call from his sergeant. Basically, I'm not going to get into the details because it's not my story to tell. And one day I will have Stone on this podcast because he has an incredible story and incredible stories to tell. But, he basically got a call saying, hey, it's Wednesday. We're sending you somewhere on Sunday where you're going to be in the middle of nowhere for at least 61 days, and you're going to have absolutely no communication with the outside world. Cool. Awesome. Did not expect that. That was definitely an unexpected challenge because, hey, I'm a very independent person, but Stone is my best friend. Stone is, he's everything to me. And not being able to communicate with him for that long of a period of time, especially after just moving to a new place where I really don't know anyone, it was a really hard challenge that I was about to face. So fast forward, we maximized our time that we spent together leading up until that point. Sunday was really tough. I'm not going to be honest with you guys. And it's okay to not be okay. It is okay to cry, but it's not okay to remain in that state. What I mean by that is, hey, cry. Hey, feel those emotions. Be aware of it. Move on and keep going. Because if you just stay stagnant and you sit on the floor and you cry and you don't do anything about your life, well, then you're not really going to have a good life. So I wasn't going to do that to myself, and I also wasn't going to do that to Stone, because I knew that if he came back in 2 months and I had not done shit with my life, he probably would be a little bit disappointed in me, and I would be disappointed in myself. So I'm not that kind of a person. I'm going to get up and I'm going to dust myself off and I'm going to keep moving forward. But nonetheless, this was an extremely unexpected challenge that there was no way that I was planning for it. Yes, we knew that it would happen. That's part of being in the military, right? But I did not think, and we did not think, that it would happen so quickly upon getting to Florida. So, long story short, he was gone for 3 days, ended up changing plans, and now we're back living happily ever after for now. But it was a scary moment. It was a scary couple days. But that kind of gets into what I wanted to talk about. Unexpected challenges. And that's why this topic is at the forefront of my head, because I know that a lot of people reached out to me during these few days and were like, hey, we're here for you. If you need anything, let me know. Incredible support. But also a lot of people who are like, I completely understand where you're at. Maybe not in the exact same scenario, but dealing with unexpected challenges that they can't overcome or that they're struggling with themselves. So I wanted to put a little bit of my thoughts together to help you guys, because this is kind of how I was able to get myself out of that funk in this situation, but also in other scenarios where it's kind of been the same. And you can think of this as big as your spouse going away for a prolonged period of time, to being stuck in traffic or having to navigate a different point in your day because something popped up. We're never going to know what to expect. And all we can do is we can anticipate the craziness that life brings us. That way we're not so surprised when we get thrown off track. So how do we overcome these unexpected challenges? I'm going to break it down to you guys in 3 easy steps. Obviously, they're simple steps, not necessarily easy to execute because it takes a little bit of mindset going into it. But number 1 is going to be perspective. Number 2 is going to be FIO, and we'll get into that. And then number 3 is going to be understanding. So going back to number 1, perspective. Let's be honest. When these moments happen, we tend to go to the absolute worst case scenario, right? But what you want to do in that moment, instead of automatically going to the negative, shift your perspective and bring logic into it. And I use this example a lot with my clients when it comes to the scale, right? We all know that there's a plastic monster living in our bathroom. It's known as the scale. So if you're on any sort of a health or a fitness journey, you understand that that scale, that number, can be kind of terrifying sometimes. And I'll do a podcast all about the scale because I have a lot of words to say about that bitch. But basically, the unexpected challenge in this scenario would be, hey, your weight is up when you've been doing the work, you've been focused on the plan, your nutrition's been on point, and you really haven't changed anything, but for some reason this week, when you stepped on the scale, instead of it being the same or going down, it went up a little bit. So in this moment, it's easy for our emotions to overwhelm us and for us to kind of allow those emotions to overtake us. And that's going to lead us into making irrational decisions, such as starving ourselves that day or just plain old putting ourselves into a really depressed state for that day and allowing that number to ruin our day. Or hell, we might be like, I need to do extra cardio because the scale was up. Don't do that. Follow your plan. Whatever coach you have, whatever coach has laid out for you, or whatever you have laid out for yourself, follow the fucking plan. Don't deviate. Follow the fucking plan. Anyway, when that happens, I tell my clients to use logic. Ask yourself, why is the scale up? The scale can be up for so many different reasons. Did you eat a little bit later than you did yesterday or the day before, right? Did you drink a little bit more water last night, or did you finish your water a little bit later than you usually do? Did you sleep like shit? Did you train hard yesterday? Maybe you're a little inflamed, right? Did you travel recently? Ladies, is it that time of the month? Did you have a little bit more sodium yesterday? Did you go to the bathroom this morning? There are so many different reasons why the scale could be up, right? So logic takes the emotions down a notch. When we bring logic into the situation, it allows our emotions to kind of cool out a little bit. And, I've had an eating disorder. I share my struggles really openly with you guys. And one of the things that I still struggle with today is, this week, I'm in a deload week from training. I've never taken a deload week from training, so you can imagine that I'm kind of losing my mind. But my nutrition coach, my training coach, they said it's time. Central nervous system is a little bit taxed, so we need to take a little bit of a break for this week. We're still getting movement in, we're still training, but the intensity and the volume is much, much lower. But here's the thing, my food is still the same. So I'm eating the same amount despite doing a lot less volume. So it's messing with my head. And logically, I know that the only thing that's going to happen is that I'm probably going to recover. My body is going to love this week, and I'm going to be stronger next week when I go back into training, right? Because it's 1 week. This time next week, I'm going to be kicking my ass in the garage, and I'm going to wish that it was a deload week. But my emotions and my eating disorder emotions take over, and they say, well, you're probably just going to gain a shit ton of body fat this week. And when I say that out loud, the other day I caught myself, I was like, I don't even feel like I deserve to eat. And I thought that in my head all day long, but then I said it out loud and I realized how fucking ridiculous it sounds. So when you take logic and you shift your perspective, that allows you to realize that that worst case scenario probably isn't going to play out. So don't assume the worst. You're going to be okay. Number 2, FIO. What the fuck does that mean? Figure it out. FIO, figure it out, or how I like to say it, figure it the fuck out. When something happens, guys, we have a choice. We can either figure it out or we can freak out. Most of us, I would say probably 99.9% of us, freak out. And that's okay. You're allowed to have that moment. But don't stay in that moment. Don't stay freaking out. Have your little freak out, take a deep breath, and say, hey, cool. That does nothing for me. Freaking out is not going to do anything to solve the problem. Figure it out instead. Make the choice to figure it out. Make a plan. Understand that if you continue to freak out, nothing will get done and the situation will probably get worse. So figure it out and use the mindset, guys, that there is always a way. There always is a way, right? Where there's a will, there's a way. But no problems, only solutions. Just keep telling yourself that. No problems, only solutions, because it's going to make your life a hell of a lot easier. And then finally, number 3, guys, and that kind of goes into 2 different parts. So number 3, you have to understand 2 things. 1, you have to understand that the challenging times that you're going through right now, the tough shit, it's going to end. They always do. These challenges that we have in life, they are inevitable. But growth from these challenges is optional. So choose to grow from these challenging times, right? Easy times produce soft people. Tough times produce hard people. So you can make the choice that you're going to come out stronger on the other side after this challenge. Because when you're able to navigate through trauma, you're able to do so much more with your life and you're able to grow so much more because of that experience with overcoming that. And then number 2, what you want to remember is that you are never alone. No matter what happens, even when you feel completely isolated from every single human being on the planet, there is somebody out there who is going through something similar or something maybe even in the exact same boat as you. Find the strength. Find the strength for somebody. If you can't do it for you, do it for somebody else. Someone is counting on you. Even if that someone is future you. They need you. So show up. So guys, to break that down, shift your perspective, use logic, figure it out, and then understand that it's going to end and that you are never alone. Because I know that when you're going through tough times, a lot of people just want to come up to you and they want to say, oh, hey, I'm thinking about you. Oh, it's going to be okay. But we don't want to hear that it's going to be okay. It kind of feels like a little bit of a bitch slap when you're going through such a tough time and somebody just goes, hey, it's going to be okay. That didn't help. I think that it's more important to let that person know that they're never alone. Because it's okay to go through tough times because it happens, right? And it's okay to feel those moments. But it's not okay to hold yourself back and use these moments as an excuse as to why you're not doing the work that you need to do to produce the results that you want in life. Guys, these challenges suck. But you got to keep in mind that you're stronger than all of the challenges that you're going to face. Just keep telling yourself that, because it might sound cliche, but you are 100% undefeated on your most challenging days, and that's not going to change. As long as you don't quit, you're going to be okay. Just choose not to quit. And if you feel like quitting, tell yourself, I'm going to quit tomorrow. But guess what? Tomorrow never comes, because when tomorrow comes, then it's today. So hey, if you need to use a little bit of that psychology to mess with yourself a little bit, do it. As long as you don't quit, you're going to be fine. Take a deep breath. You're going to be okay. I know you don't want to hear that. You're never alone. And guys, if you ever need anything, I put my email, I put my Instagram down below. Reach out to me. Don't hesitate. I'm here to help. It's what I want to do. I want to change the world one person at a time. So guys, that's all that I got for you today. But if you found any sort of value from this podcast, or if you feel that somebody else on this planet or one of your friends or one of your family members needs to hear this message, please, all that I ask is that you share this podcast. I don't do ads, and I never will. I don't even know how that works. I just want to get a message out to you guys. So please, make it a great day and do one thing today that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be.